We're here at Magic Kingdom over Memorial Day weekend to make our brand new Lightning Lane strategy guide for 2026. Let's go do it. Hi ho everybody, this is Rob with Ear Scouts coming to you bright and early from the Magic Kingdom to make our brand new Lightning Lane strategy guide for 2026. In today's video, we're going to share with you which attractions you should book first, what you should think about booking after that, and how to plan out the perfect Lightning Lane day here at the most challenging of parks at Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom. Right now, we're actually here a little bit before rope drop. If you're not familiar with the Disney slang, rope drop basically is the moment where they're gonna drop the ropes and let everyone enter the park during the regular entry time. So if you're here for early entry, you could actually already be enjoying Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, because here at Magic Kingdom, those are the only two lands that are open during early entry. Since all those early entry folks are over there in Tomorrowland and Fantasyland, we're going to be starting our day over here at Adventureland. Technically speaking, we're really just going to walk through Adventureland because our first attractions are over in Frontierland. Aside from the fact that everybody else is in those other lands, the other good reason to start your day in Frontierland is that the most challenging Lightning Lane to book in all of Magic Kingdom right now is Big Thunder Mountain. So by heading straight to Big Thunder first thing in our day, we can actually not have to bother with even booking that Lightning Lane. And that really is my first big tip when you're using Lightning Lane here at Magic Kingdom. There are 20 attractions in this park that use Lightning Lane. There is almost no way that you can book all of those Lightning Lanes in the course of a single day, but if you take advantage of short wait times when you can, that gives you the opportunity to cross some of those rides off your list without having to take the time to book them using the Lightning Lane system. The other reason we're starting our day in Frontierland is because that's where our very first Lightning Lane of the day is as well. We've got a 9:05 for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I recommend having a Lightning Lane booked for something. It doesn't have to be a key attraction like Tiana. Anything that you can get booked as close to the time that you plan to enter the park is great, because that's going to allow you to unlock yourself. What we mean by unlocking is with Lightning Lane Multipass, you're initially limited to only one Tier 1 attraction. You can have 3 Lightning Lanes booked, but only one of those can be a Tier 1. Also, if you're planning to park hop, you're initially limited to having all your attractions in the same park. But as soon as you tap in at that first attraction of the day, that's going to unlock you and free you to have multiple Tier 1 attractions or to book in other parks. So the sooner you can unlock yourself, the better off you're going to be getting your hands on those toughest to book Lightning Lanes in the park. In our case, however, we're not going to go straight to Tiana's to tap in. That's because our main priority is getting the shortest wait possible on Big Thunder. But as soon as we get off of Big Thunder, we're heading straight next door to do Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We got a big morning ahead of us, so let's get to it. I saw that one was a posted 25 minutes as we walked into the queue. And even though we were behind a good number of people, it was still a walk-on for us. So I think that's an important lesson. You don't need to run to be at the very front of the pack of people. As long as you're in that initial group, you're gonna have little to no wait. And speaking of little to no wait, let's tap in for our very first lightning lane, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, so that we can unlock ourselves and book our next lightning lane. And of course, most importantly, ride one of the best rides here at Magic Kingdom. Let's go do it. What an incredible way to start our Magic Kingdom day. Those are my two favorite rides in this park. So I love starting my day with those, but that's actually not the main reason that we started here. The main reason we started here is because those are actually two of the most difficult to book lightning lanes in all of Magic Kingdom. Now, if you come to the parks all the time, you probably already know which lightning lanes are more difficult to book. But if you don't come all the time, how do you keep track of which lightning lanes you should be booking first and which ones you can worry about later? Because those most popular lightning lanes, they're going to run out of return times pretty early in the day, or at the very least, they're going to show much later times. So you won't be able to tap in and ride those attractions until almost the end of your day. So it's really important, get those most popular rides booked and ridden as early as possible so you don't have to worry about trying to book them or dealing with late return times. Now, since you may not know which attractions are the most difficult to book, we came up with this little system of a deck of cards. We assign card values to all of the different attractions in each of the parks. The ace is going to be the most difficult to book in that park, going all the way down to the 2 in the deck, which is the easiest to grab. You could definitely save that for last. Now, it's important to note this deck that I'm going to share with you changes somewhat frequently, so we do keep those updated on our website. Just head over to earscouts.com/deck and you'll be able to see the latest lineup. But for right now, the ace in the deck is Big Thunder Mountain. That's because this attraction just got overhauled. There's brand new effects. Everybody wants to ride Big Thunder again. So that attraction is currently the ace in the deck. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about booking that one. We already rode it. The king in the deck is another attraction that just got revamped, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. If you're used to that one not being a particularly popular lightning lane, well, at least for the foreseeable future, it's gonna be really hard to grab. Believe it or not, the queen in the deck right now is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. This attraction has continued to surprise us this year in terms of how difficult it is to book. I think it's really just a matter of having a limited number of lightning lane slots available, and it's very popular for families with little kids. The Jack in the deck is one you're probably more used to seeing at the top of the rankings, and that is Peter Pan's Flight. This one is a notoriously difficult lightning lane to book and kind of always has been. The 10 is Haunted Mansion right now. Haunted Mansion is considered a tier 2 attraction, and those tier 2s, folks can have 2 of them booked when they start their day. So the really popular tier 2s like Winnie the Pooh and Haunted Mansion tend to be booked up really fast. It's really surprising to me that Tiana is no longer a face card, but I think that has more to do with the fact that the attraction's having really good uptime right now. They're able to get lots of people on and off, and I think it's more that than the fact that it's become less popular. The next one in the deck might surprise you that it is so low right now, and that is Jungle Cruise. This one used to be the ace in the deck. It used to be the most difficult lightning lane to grab, but it's definitely cooled off a lot. Once you get those attractions booked, however, the rest you could pretty much do in whatever order you wanted. Those are the ones that are going to be the most challenging later in the day. You really shouldn't think of this deck like a Bible. You shouldn't think, oh, I need to book the ace and then the king and then the queen. What's more important is to focus, number one, on the attractions that matter most to you and your group. Use these rankings to guide you and let you know, oh, This attraction's really important to us and it's high in the deck. I should probably move that earlier in our day. The other thing that you should be considering is what attractions are near you. What you want to avoid, if at all possible, is going across the park and then back across the park, because not only is that wasting precious time, it's also costing you a lot of steps. And on a hot day like today, you're going to be grateful to save as many steps as you possibly can. If your goal is to try to do everything, and that's actually our goal today in this video, you're probably going to have to do some backtracking. It will be inevitable. But what you can do is try to mark off entire lands in one go, so you don't have to come back to that land. And we just did that with Frontierland here. Frontierland is now done. If we continue over towards Fantasyland, our next stop would be Liberty Square. And there's only one attraction we need to worry about in there, and that is the Haunted Mansion. Right next door to the Haunted Mansion is Peter Pan's Flight. That's kind of the beginning of Fantasyland. So that's another good one for us to consider booking next. So we did go ahead and book one of those two rides next, and I want to show you right now how we did it, because there's some secrets that you can use that'll make it much easier for you to grab those most difficult to book lightning lanes. The first is you want to use the Genie. Even though Genie Plus is gone, the Genie is still around. You can find him in the My Plan section. Up at the top, there's a button there for Add Preferences. Tap on that, and then the Genie is going to appear. First off, he's going to ask you some basic questions like which park you're going to and what day it is that you're going to that park. Next, he's going to ask you who all is going with you. And then comes the most important part: which rides are you most interested in? Now, what we're going to use the Genie for right now is to pin rides to the top of our view. Whatever we choose right now in this list of rides is going to be pinned to the top whenever we book lightning lanes or modify lightning lanes. And that's going to be key, because we want to see those rides as quickly as possible so we can tap in and book them before that time gets taken by somebody else. So right now, I went ahead and I added Peter Pan's Flight and Haunted Mansion to my list to have pinned, because those are the two rides we're going to be coming to next. Before we book that next ride though, let's take a look at where we are right now. So we started the day with 3 lightning lane slots. Whenever we tap in at one of those attractions, or that lightning lane expires, or we choose to modify it into something else, that is what frees us up to book a different ride. This morning we had Tiana's Bayou Adventure at 9:05, so we could start the day there. After that, we had the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh booked at 11:10 a.m. And following that, we had Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin at 12:35. So when we tapped in over there at Tiana, that opened up that slot and allowed us to book something else. And as I mentioned, we want to try to get either Haunted Mansion or Peter Pan's Flight. And look what happens when we go into wait times and show times. Those are populated right there at the top for us. I just went ahead and grabbed one of them. I think I grabbed initially Peter Pan's Flight. And then what I want to do is try to modify that lightning lane, because right now it's showing much later than I wanted. I'd love it if we could go do one of these attractions right now. So all you got to do, open up that lightning lanes list, tap on the attraction that you want to modify, a menu's going to pop up, and you're going to choose Modify from that menu. Now you're going to see that lightning lane that you're modifying there at the top. It's going to show you what time you have it booked for and what time you could book it for at that moment. And below that are the list of other attractions that you could choose to book instead. In our case, of course, we want to also look at Haunted Mansion, and luckily it's right there in our view. So every time we refresh the view, we're going to be able to see the latest return times for both of those attractions. And that's key, because these are popular lightning lanes. They're going to go fast. This process of refreshing, I like to call it playing the Disney slots, because it's kind of like a slot machine game. You spin the reels on the slot machine and you're hoping to win a prize. In this case, a short wait on one of your favorite rides here at Magic Kingdom. I also think it's important to think of this as a game, because really, if you think of it as a tool for booking rides, you're going to find it's a very frustrating tool. But if you get your whole party involved and everybody's playing the game in a competitive way to see who can grab the next lightning lane for the group, it does actually become kind of a fun group sport. I've had many families who stop me and tell me that playing the Disney slots has become a cornerstone of their Disney adventures as a family. They love to see who's going to be the champion of that trip to Disney World. So think of it as a game, share the responsibility, and I promise it's not going to be as bad as it sounds. But it is going to be a lot of refreshing and staring at your phone. That's the reality of using Lightning Lane Multipass. Of course, if you want to skip all that, you don't want to refresh the screen or look at your phone, you could pay for Premier Pass, which is a lot more expensive, and then you just walk into all the Lightning Lanes you want. You don't have to book them, but in today's video, we're focused on showing you how to book them and how to get everything you want to ride. And that's actually exactly what we did. We were able to grab a great return time for Haunted Mansion, which is the one and only attraction we have in Liberty Square. Let's head over to the next land in our journey and hang out with 999 Happy Haunts. Romeo, how's it going? Looking good. Love the hair. I love that Haunted Mansion, an opening day attraction for this park, is still one of the most popular Lightning Lanes because it's just that good. Before we move on to our next ride though, I want to show you what I did as soon as we tapped in there at Haunted Mansion. So whenever you tap in at a ride, I recommend use that limited amount of time that you're going to have. The line won't be long, but you will have some time. And there are several things that you can do to prepare yourself for the next ride. Number one, of course, is you want to book something. So go to that Lightning Lane screen, and if you're ever not sure if you can book something or not at that moment, it'll show you right there at the top. There'll be a book button. If you're able to book something, go ahead and tap on that, and it's going to bring you to the wait times and showtime screen so that you can book something else. Now, it is going to have those attractions that you've pinned up there at the top, but now we want something a little bit different pinned. Notice that there's a button up there for edit selections. Tap on that, and that's going to bring up a new menu that's going to let you uncheck the rides that you've already ridden and check the rides that you're interested in grabbing next. So I went ahead and I kept Peter Pan, but what I chose to add was It's a Small World. Now, I didn't mention that attraction earlier when I was talking about the most popular Lightning Lanes because, well, it's not one of the most popular Lightning Lanes. So if it's not popular, why do I want to focus on it this early in the day? Well, you really do want to balance your Lightning Lane selections between things that you can do right then and that are near you, and of course, those most popular Lightning Lanes that you need to book strategically. Right now, we have 2 of our slots locked up by attractions that are strategic, that we wanted to make sure we booked early, but we want to use that 3rd slot to keep us moving because you can't book a new attraction until you've ridden the next one. So we're going to go ahead and book It's a Small World because I know I can get that quickly. But now that we have It's a Small World booked, all we got to do, tap on those 3 little dots there. This is a different way that you can get to modify. A menu pops up and you choose modify here, and you're going to go to that same screen we saw before. Now I have It's a Small World there at the top, and I have Peter Pan's Flight locked in right below it. If I could get a time for like right now for Peter Pan, I would definitely take it. But since I wasn't able to do that, we're just going to go ahead and tap in here at It's a Small World, and then that frees us up to go ahead and book something else. When you've got 20 attractions to try to book in the course of your day, you really need to keep it moving. So you're not always going to get the next best possible ride, but with any luck, you can get a ride that's really close by and lets you check another one off your list. Well, that was a delightful change of pace for our day. We are officially in Fantasyland mode now. I do want to show you really quickly 3 interesting things that happened when we tapped in there at It's a Small World. The first is, as soon as I tapped in, I went ahead to book my next lightning lane, and look what happened. I didn't see that button that told me I could book. Why is this? It's because this particular attraction has 2 tap-in points. There's one at the main entrance and another just before you board the ride. Whenever you have an attraction with 2 tap-in points, it's not going to show you that book button until you tap in at the second touch point. So that's just a good thing to keep in your back pocket. If you're trying to book something and you can't book it yet, that's probably the reason why. The other thing I wanted to point out, that attraction only had a 10-minute posted wait. We're after 11 o'clock on Memorial Day weekend. I'm kind of shocked that the crowd level is not really very high. We try to do these videos on holiday weekends because we want to show you kind of the worst of the worst scenarios, but this has actually not been too bad. It was pretty easy. In fact, it was so easy that we were able to get our next must-do ride before we even boarded It's a Small World. So we started by editing our selections, and next I chose Mad Tea Party because that's just down the road here in Fantasyland, and I figured I could get that quickly. I did, and then I started to modify that attraction. But this time, I did things a little bit differently. So you remember when we were modifying the Peter Pan's Flight and Haunted Mansion lightning lanes, we kept pulling down to refresh. We played the slots. That's because I wanted to keep an eye on both of those times at once. Every time I refreshed, I could see what both of those times were. But in this case, I don't really care that much about getting a better time for Mad Tea Party. The time I've got is fine. What I really care about is getting a better time for Peter Pan's Flight. In this scenario, you should do things a little bit differently. We're going to use what I like to call the tap-in, tap-out method. What I mean by this is we're just going to go ahead and tap in on whatever time is showing up for Peter Pan's Flight, even if we don't really want it. Sometimes when you tap through, you're going to get a message saying that your return time has changed, and it's basically gone to look for whatever is the best time at that moment you tapped, and that's what it's going to present you with. Sometimes this time might be later than what you tapped on, but other times it's actually earlier than what you tapped on. And the good news is, if you like what you see here, you're done. There's nothing to tap in quickly on. You already did the tap. You've got this one in the bag. So this is a great technique to use if you're just aiming for one attraction, you know that's what you want, and it's going to be a really tough one to grab. As I said earlier, we were able to book this before we even got on the ride. We just got super lucky. When we tapped in, we saw an 11 o'clock return time, which is actually right now, meaning we can go tap in at our next lightning lane, which also happens to be one of the most challenging lightning lanes to book, Peter Pan's Flight. Let's go do it. That was a big one. I'm really glad we have Peter Pan's Flight checked off the list. As soon as we tapped in there, I did go ahead and book our next lightning lane. Now, before I said we wanted to kind of balance between things to do right now and things that we needed to book strategically. Well, we already have a right now ride because we have Winnie the Pooh that we booked earlier. Right now is the time for us to tap into that, so I didn't need to worry about a right now ride. Instead, I grabbed the last of the really tough to grab rides we had left, which was Jungle Cruise. Initially, I wasn't able to get a great time for Jungle Cruise, but I did spend a little bit of time playing the slots, and I was able to back that up to a pretty decent time. I'll be honest, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time playing the slots today, which is surprising. I do think it's important to let you know, though, this is not typical. Normally, on a day like today, where it is the Saturday before Memorial Day, it would be a lot busier than this, and it would be more challenging to grab these rides. Also, I'm booking for 2 people. When you book for parties of 5 or more, you will find that it gets more challenging to book as well. A lot of people will tell you with Lightning Lane, it doesn't actually matter how many people are in your party, that it's the same for everyone. I'll just say that has not been my experience. My experience has been, if it's a party between 1 and 4, yes, it's pretty much the same. But once you get to a party of 5 or larger, I do find it's more difficult to book. Before we hop on Winnie the Pooh though, I want to show you one other quick thing in the app. So Eric decided he didn't want to ride this attraction. If I didn't cancel him from this Lightning Lane, then when I went to book the next one, he wouldn't be a part of it because essentially he's already still tied to Winnie the Pooh. So all you got to do in this case, tap on that attraction like you're going to modify it, but instead choose cancel. Don't worry, it's not going to cancel for everyone. It's going to let you choose who to cancel for. Once you do that, that person is then removed from the Lightning Lane, and once everybody else taps in, you're free to book for everybody again. I do want to show you a confusing thing that happens though. Look at what happened after I canceled Eric. That book button came back. So it looks like I could book another Lightning Lane right now. But if I went ahead and did that, I would actually only be booking for Eric. The whole party, which in this case is just me, would not be able to join him because I still have this Lightning Lane here at Winnie the Pooh, which is blocking me from booking another. So that can be a little confusing when you have larger groups. Some folks have Lightning Lanes that other folks don't. You may see that book button, but be careful and notice who all in your party you're booking for, because it might not be the entire group. Well, with that said, let's head into the 100-acre wood and hang out with Tigger, Kangaroo, and of course, Winnie the Pooh. Adorable. Eric does not know what he's missing. Well, actually, he knows exactly what he's missing because he's ridden that ride probably 30, 40 times. But I still am glad that we rode that ride because it's adorable. As soon as we tapped in, I was actually able to grab our next Lightning Lane really easily. Remember when I said that once we got past Jungle Cruise, everything lower than that in the deck was going to be easy to grab? And I bet you were probably thinking to yourself, Rob, you're not including rides like Space Mountain. Space Mountain, that's gotta be tough to grab. Actually, it's not so tough to grab anymore. In fact, I was able to grab it within like a minute of trying to grab it. So it is pretty easy to grab right now. As I mentioned, we do keep these decks updated frequently and we base it on real park data. So as it turns out, Space Mountain, generally not too hard to book anymore. It's mainly because that is listed as a Tier 1 attraction, but out of all of those Tier 1 attractions, it's probably the least popular. And remember, people can only have one Tier 1 attraction initially, so very few people are going to have pre-booked Space Mountain, and that does tend to give it an extra supply of Lightning Lanes that it probably wouldn't have if it was a Tier 2. If you want to get into all of the nerdy specifics of Lightning Lane, check out our Lightning Lane guide for 2026. We go into a lot more detail than we have the time to go into in this video. Today, we're really just focusing on how to use it in Magic Kingdom, but if you want to know all the nitty-gritty details, check out that video, and we'll put a link to it in the description down below. But for right now, let's hop on our next Lightning Lane, Space Mountain. We are going to head next door to Tomorrowland, but it's actually not that far of a walk from Winnie the Pooh to Space Mountain. At this point in our day, though, we are probably going to need to do a little bit of crisscrossing back and forth, although we're going to try to minimize that as much as we can. If you need to make a quick hop from Fantasyland into Tomorrowland or Fantasyland into Liberty Square, that's really not that far of a walk and not that big of a deal if you find a really great Lightning Lane you want to grab. And that's exactly what we did. So let's set a course for the stars and ride Space Mountain. Front row is the way to go on Space Mountain. Unless, of course, you're just really missing your chiropractor, want to go say hello. In that case, sit wherever you want. But as a general rule, the further back you are in a coaster, the rougher the ride is. It's more exciting towards the back. But on this coaster in particular, it's really rough on your back. It's very herky-jerky. But if you want to avoid that as much as possible, the very front seat is the way to go. This day really is falling into place perfectly because we're right on time right now for our lightning lane over at Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. I'd like to say that I planned it to all fall that way, but it's really kind of dumb luck. And the fact that it's surprisingly not very busy. I mean, that was a 40-some minute wait over there at Space Mountain. That's crazy for a holiday weekend. So if you were thinking you didn't want to come to Disney World during the summer because it's going to be crazy busy, this might be the summer for you, if this is any indication. We're going to head over to Buzz right now, but before we do, I feel like we have to talk about the biggest Tomorrowland attraction of them all, Tron. We are going to be riding Tron today, and it does have a lightning lane, but it uses what's called single pass lightning lane, meaning that you need to book a lightning lane for just that one attraction for everybody who wants to ride it. It's not included as part of multi-pass. Now we do have that one booked. I pre-booked Tron and I pre-booked Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That's the other single pass lightning lane here at Magic Kingdom. Initially I didn't have the best times, but we have been able to modify those. I do want to show you because playing the slots is a little bit different with a single pass lightning lane. When you go to modify it, the screen looks different. Up at the top, you can choose to assign that lightning lane to a different person if you wanted to. You could also choose the dates that you want to use that lightning lane. So if you decided you didn't want to use it that day, you could actually select a completely different day in your trip and move your lightning lane there. That is an exclusive thing with single pass. You cannot do that with multi-pass lightning lanes. But the other thing that's different is if you try to refresh the screen here, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't work that way. But there is a little trick that you can use to refresh your view and keep looking for better times. All you're going to do is look down and you see this row of park icons. Tap on a different park icon, and that's actually going to refresh the view. What it's doing is it's looking to see if there are lightning lanes that you might want to change to in that park. But what we care about is refreshing the view for the ride that we already have booked. You can keep tapping back and forth between the different parks, and that's going to refresh the view and see if better times are available. If one shows up, you need to tap in really fast and grab it because these are extremely competitive to get. I'm actually pretty happy with the times that we have right now. I do wish that Tron was just a little bit later because I love riding that ride at night, but other than that, I'm happy with where we're at. So we might just keep what we got. The one ride I know we're going to keep where we have it is Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin because where we have it is right now.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to the machine.
The new version of Buzz is amazing. So much better than the original here at Magic Kingdom. If you liked this attraction before, you're gonna love it now. And if before you were like, not one of my favorites, give it another try. You can hold the blaster in your hands now and point it wherever you want, which actually makes it a lot easier to figure out which one of those little dots of light is actually yours. This is the first time I think I've ever played Space Ranger Spin where reliably I could tell where I was aiming. You would think that that would mean that I'm actually really good at this new version. No, actually, I'm terrible at this version. I don't know, I find it much more challenging, partly because I'm trying to film at the same time that I'm playing. I need to come back and play when I'm not filming and see if I can do any better. But today, it was a pretty abysmal score. So right now, we're actually on time for our lightning lane over at Jungle Cruise, but I'm not gonna head over there yet. I actually am planning to ride that attraction much later. We were able to back it up to 12:45, so it's actually going to expire at 1:45. I'm gonna let it expire though, and I'll share with you why. With lightning lanes, you have a grace period of 15 to 20 minutes after that lightning lane expires where you're allowed to still use it. But here's the thing, ever since it changed over from Genie Plus to lightning lane, the actual grace period you've been getting is 1 hour and 59 minutes. Now, this is not official, so it could change at any moment, but until it does change, you should use this to your advantage, because as soon as that lightning lane does expire, it's going to free that slot up and it's going to let us book something else in that slot. When you're trying to plan out a day in a park as massive as Magic Kingdom, having more than 3 slots is huge. So I'm going to intentionally let that Jungle Cruise expire so that I can open up another slot to use. As long as we get over there within 2 hours of it expiring, we'll still be able to use it, no problem, as long as things haven't changed. Don't worry though, if things do change, we will let you know in a future video. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell, and that way you'll be notified when that video comes out. But for right now, we're gonna hop on the next lightning lane that I booked right here in Tomorrowland. Let's go do Tomorrowland Speedway. Tomorrowland Speedway is checked off the list. Not my favorite attraction in Magic Kingdom. It's a little on the stinky side, it's very loud. You can smell the gas fumes from the vehicles. Really hope that gets upgraded to be an electric vehicle attraction soon, like they're doing at Disneyland. Honestly, I think how you feel about Tomorrowland Speedway depends on whether or not you can drive real cars, because if you're little and you can't drive real cars yet, then that attraction is a blast. The other thing I don't love about Tomorrowland Speedway, especially during the middle of a hot summer day, it is a scorchingly hot attraction. There's not a lot of cover, so you're kind of right under the blazing sun. It is important that you take care of yourself. Bring a water bottle, make sure that you're staying hydrated, but also balance your outdoor attractions with your indoor attractions. So we just did Buzz Lightyear, which was an indoor attraction, and then we went and did Tomorrowland Speedway. Right now, I'm at Anti-Gravity's, enjoying some soft serve to cool off, and I'm here in the air conditioning. I actually went ahead and I booked Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, which is right next door, as our next attraction, because you really do want to balance that outdoor and indoor, and that's what we're doing. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, I'm going to be honest with you, you do not need a lightning lane for that attraction. Even on the busiest days, you can usually get in without a lightning lane, no problem. But our mission today is to try to book every single lightning lane in this park, and that's actually the last one that we have for multi-pass here in Tomorrowland. So we booked it. I'm gonna enjoy this ice cream, and then we're gonna go catch the show.
Hello, I'm Roz. I run things here, so don't get any ideas.
Well, that was pretty cool. I finally made it to the silver screen. Unfortunately, it was at Monsters Inc. And with that, we are done with multi-pass in Tomorrowland. We do, of course, still have Tron, but that is later tonight. Right now, we're gonna head into our next land, which is Storybook Circus, which is kind of a part of Fantasyland. There are only 2 attractions there with lightning lanes. There's the Barnstormer featuring Goofy, and then there is Dumbo the Flying Elephant. And the good news is we already have both of those attractions booked. So right now, because our Jungle Cruise has officially expired, that means we can have 4 lightning lanes at the same time. We do need to make sure that we get over and use Jungle Cruise, however, in about an hour from now is when it's going to officially go away for good. So I think that does give us enough time, though, to knock out the 2 attractions over here in Storybook Circus. The other attraction that I have booked right now is Pirates of the Caribbean, and my hope is that I'll be able to time it so I can do that right after we do Jungle Cruise, because they're right next to each other in Adventureland. But first, we're going to take the shortcut that takes you from Tron into Storybook Circus. Let's go do it. with that, everything in Storybook Circus is checked off the list. I would love to tell you that this is how it always is at Magic Kingdom, but today is pretty magical. I can't believe we're able to just so easily book everything. In fact, at this moment, I have everything booked now for Adventureland. There are 3 attractions there with lightning lanes. You've got Jungle Cruise, you've got Pirates of the Caribbean, and you've got the Magic Carpets of Aladdin, and we've got all 3 of them in our back pocket. So this is gonna be probably our biggest crisscross of the day. Thankfully, we can just cut through the hub, and it's not really that far, but let's go knock off all of those attractions in Adventureland in one fell swoop. Adventureland is now complete, but I am actually in uncharted waters right now because we are late for our lightning lane for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Now, we tested it out and we did see you can still be up to 2 hours late for a multi-pass lightning lane. But Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is a single pass lightning lane. It has its own set of rules, and I'll be honest, I've never been this late to one of those lightning lanes before. So it's really anybody's guess whether it's going to glow green or blue. So when it glows blue, that means you don't have access at that moment, and it's kind of at the discretion of the cast member if you're allowed to go in. So we're gonna find out together. Does the additional grace period also apply to single pass lightning lanes? I should mention while we're on this topic, that grace period I mentioned for multi-pass also does not work on shows that have specific show times. So if it's a show that just goes again and again and again, like Monsters, Inc., then yes, that trick still works. But if it's a show like, say, Festival of the Lion King, where you're getting a lightning lane for a specific showing, it does not work for that. So don't try to show up 2 hours late for Lion King. They're not gonna let you in. But for right now, let's go see if they'll let us in over at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Well, we were 40 minutes late for this lightning lane and it glowed green. So at least we know that you can be 40 minutes late and get in without a problem. Maybe in a future video, we'll have to test it out. We'll have to see how late is too late. I'm just glad that 40 minutes was not too late because I love this ride and I'm looking forward to riding it. My friends, if you had told me that a little after 5 p.m. on Memorial Day weekend, I would finish booking every single lightning lane in the Magic Kingdom, I would have said that was far-fetched. I would have said that was crazy. And yet, here we are. With all 20 lightning lanes in this park having been booked, we've got 4 rides left to ride, 3 multi-pass, well, one of them's a show. So 2 multi-pass rides and 1 show. And then of course we have our final single pass lightning lane, Tron, all of them booked. All that's left to do is the fun part, which is riding all of them. So we're gonna go do the fun part. But first, I do wanna say, this is pretty extraordinary. This is probably the best day I've ever had using Lightning Lane at Magic Kingdom. These results are not typical. Having said that, The strategies that we used were the exact same strategies I would have been using if it had been busier, which is what I was expecting it to be today. If you were here on a normal busy day, this park is typically open until 11 p.m. So that means you'd have 6 hours left to do what we've managed to do so far today. That said, you don't need to book every lightning lane in this park. You should take your time and enjoy Magic Kingdom the way that you and your group want to enjoy it. But I do hope that these tips and strategies that we've shared with you will help you get the most out of your time here, no matter how you choose to explore it. All that's left now, however, is the really fun part. We gotta go ride all these rides. So let's go do that, and I'll meet you guys at the finish line. Womp, 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 womp. So unfortunately, just after we tapped in, Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid went down, but that was actually really good news for us because it meant that we got what Disney calls an experience redemption. So anytime you're using Lightning Lane, if the attraction that you've got a Lightning Lane for goes down during your window, or in our case, goes down after you've tapped in, Disney's going to give you what's called an experience redemption. It's basically a bonus Lightning Lane. There'll be a list of attractions, and you can just go and tap in to any one of those attractions that you want. You don't have to schedule it or book it, and even if you've ridden that attraction once during the day, you can in fact ride it again. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna go take another spin on Buzz later tonight. I should also mention that because of the strategy that we used this morning, we can still book Big Thunder again if we were able to grab it. So we may end up doing a couple of attractions twice today since we've got so much time on our hands. But right now, it's time for us to tap into the most popular Lightning Lane in all of Magic Kingdom, Tron Light Cycle Run. That was super fun. It's always fun, but it is way more fun when you use a Lightning Lane. The thing about this attraction, it's just so short. The whole thing is like a minute and a half, and when you spend an hour and a half waiting in line for a minute and a half attraction, well, it makes it a little less enjoyable. Still fun, but less enjoyable. But when it's basically a walk-on, that is a very thrilling minute and a half. We've got a couple more attractions left to ride, and after that, Magic Kingdom is our oyster. We've got hours of park time left. We could see fireworks and shows. We could ride rides again. We could ride some of the rides that don't offer Lightning Lane. I'm not quite sure what we're gonna get up to yet, but it's definitely gonna be fun. I think this calls for a montage. So I've lived here for 5 years, and it wasn't until we started doing the podcast and my co-host Jessica said that you can ride this one again and again if you ask. And so I asked them when we were getting on, they're like, yeah, just give us this symbol at the end and we'll let you go again. And it works. Does this work on any other attraction at Walt Disney World? Let us know in the comments, because I had no idea you could do this. And also, check out our podcast at earscouts.com/podcast. What an amazing Magic Kingdom day we had today. This was magical. I never would have believed that we were going to get done with all of those Lightning Lane attractions so quickly in our day, and we just made the most of every minute afterwards. I love that we got to ride Buzz twice by using our bonus Lightning Lanes we got from Under the Sea Journey of the Little Mermaid. Again, whenever you get those bonus Lightning Lanes, that experience redemption, don't just default to doing that ride that you got it for. Sometimes you might decide you want to do something else instead, especially since it means you can ride certain attractions twice. I was planning to end our night with the fireworks Happily Ever After, but it was just pouring down rain, and that didn't seem like the best way to end our evening. So luckily I was able to snag this reservation at Beacon Barrel. If you haven't been here yet, it's such good food, the drinks are amazing, and this is also the only kind of lounge here at Magic Kingdom. So if you'd like to have an adult beverage at a themed lounge, this is your spot. But I'm glad that we were able to do all of these extra things, because for me, that's what Lightning Lane is really all about. It's about saving you that time you would be spending in line for attractions and giving it back to you so you can do other amazing things in the parks, like shows and characters and attractions that don't offer Lightning Lane, like the People Mover. There are a bajillion different things you can do here at Magic Kingdom, and Lightning Lane, when used correctly, can give you the time back in your day to do all of those things without sacrificing the rides you most want to ride while you're here. If you want some more tips about Magic Kingdom, we actually recently had an episode over on the podcast. Now that is a separate YouTube channel, so head on over to earscouts.com/podcast and check it out. Before we go, I want to give a huge thank you to our Patreon family. Thank you all so much for supporting what we do here at Ear Scouts and making videos like this possible. If you'd like to join them and get access to exclusive bonus content, head on over to patreon.com/earscouts. And of course, I want to thank all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it helped you to feel better about using Lightning Lane on your next trip to Magic Kingdom. If it did, help us out by giving this video a like, subscribing to our channel, and ringing that bell. That way you'll be notified whenever new videos like this come out. Until next time, don't forget to think happy thoughts, everybody. We'll see you again real soon.